Hold on. I need to make sure that I'm live everywhere before I go. I'm making all kinds of announcements and whatever. Here, I'm going live. This one doesn't seem to want to, so we're going to let that slide. Hi there. Welcome to Conscious Mind Tripping. I am your host, Audrey Newmont, and it is a new year, my very first show of the year. So happy New Year, and welcome. It is going to be an interesting year to be sure. So I want to start with some announcements. First off, last week on Tuesday, I think it was, we were on Mainstream Metaphysics with Nick's show, and I've been posting some reels from that. He has a lot of interesting predictions that are coming about for 26, and the first one starts around January the 23rd. So I think it's going to be a good year to fasten your seatbelt and be on a very conscious journey. There's going to be a lot of neat things happening. There's going to be a lot of really good things happening. And as with change, some of it might be uncomfortable, but that's part of life, right? I'm going to get into that a little bit further on. So that was a very good show, and you can go to Mainstream Metaphysics on YouTube and you can check that out. So then the second announcement is Nick has a class that just started. And for those of you that don't know us, we are Audrey and Nick Newmont. Nick is my husband, and we have this place here. It is Newmont Center for Balanced Living in Agora Hills. And we are a multimodality healing center. We've got different people that work with us that are different practitioners of acupuncture and Eastern medicine. That would be Dr. Michael McGuire. We have Dr. Stephen Palmer, who's right next door to me over here. He is a doctor of psychology and a spiritual practitioner like me. And we have a couple practitioners, Justin, who is an excellent massage artist, and he incorporates some energy work in with that when he does it. And we also have Amy Daglish, and she is a therapist. She's also a wonderful shaman. So we have a lot of different things going on here. And Nick, he is a metaphysician, like literally all things metaphysical. I call him Mr. Metaphysical. And he is just starting his basic sentient healing class. So if you've ever been interested to do energy healing work, this is to the nth degree. And it's a class that he teaches every 2 years. This would be the starting point of it. So he takes you through literally all the things that he does. And by the time you're finished with the course, you're able to do what he does. And he has quite a lot of his students are having a really great practice. And that starts, well, it started this past Monday, and it's going to be going on for the next 12 Mondays. So if you're interested, call him at 818-865-8770. Then, for more announcements, I am just in the moment of putting together a bunch of different things that are going to be happening throughout the year. And one of them, I wanted to start by saying it is, let me make sure I've got the comments coming up here. Hold on. So if you're interested, if you're watching and you have any questions, you can go to my Facebook and I'll see questions in there. And if you are on YouTube, I can see you there as well. So let me make sure that this is all good. There we go. So what I was starting to say, this year, I think it's really important for people to come back to community. And that's one thing that I've been hearing from a lot of people. They miss having a community of like-minded people. Like I've had many of our friends, our clients, and they're looking for something that is not super religious, not super this or that. They want to have a place where they come and it is fun, it is supportive, and we do interesting things. So this year, we're going to have a lot more of the art classes where we're working with the crystals. We're going to be having I have this friend of mine who wants to be my community director, director of activities. And he would like to bring in ecstatic dancing. And I think there's more game nights in the future. So we have a whole bunch of different things that we're going to be doing here over this next year. So if you have anything that you would like to join in a community and it's something that we could facilitate, give us a call and let us know. And the other thing that I'm looking to do, I just had a dream the other night. And in this dream, I'm not going to go into the basics of it, but I got a really great idea out of it. It for a lot of people right now, it seems to be that number one, they do want to be in a community. And there's also a part of it with people where they're feeling financially challenged. And then I also have had many people ask if I take insurance and, the different costs that are involved with having therapy, coming and seeing me or Nick for sessions. So I came up with a really interesting idea that incorporates community and cost effectiveness. So in this dream, like I said, I'm not going to go into the details, but the idea that came out of it, a lot of people hang out in groups, like, for instance, moms groups. There's a lot of women who get to know each other because of their kids. There's groups of women who have been hanging around with each other for years, and so they know each other, they know all of their stuff. And a lot of guys, they hang out with each other. And I started thinking about it, and it's like, a lot of people have the same kind of issues. They don't have exactly the same exact problems, but they have the same challenges. Like moms, they all have challenges with their kids. It's a lot to raise a kid. I've raised 3 of them. And with guys, sometimes they have challenges that are like guy things. I work with a lot of men and they're unique in what they bring in. A lot of single people have similar kind of issues. And what I'm wanting to put together, I'm putting it out there. If you are a part of a group of whoever, and you would like to come to a smaller, like group therapy, I'm going to facilitate that. So when I'm doing therapy with people, it doesn't have to be so detailed into the problems that we face. We don't have to get that deep and personal. A lot of my therapy that I facilitate, I bring in my tools. So, as an example, I was just talking with somebody today, and this person has been to a lot of therapy, and they were saying that they really like doing homework. And so they would ask their therapist, well, do you have any homework for me? And the therapist would be like, no. And then he was also saying that, and I hear this a lot, people go to a therapist, and a lot of times it's a lot of talking, and telling this is what happened during the week and this is what is going on. And I'm a different kind of therapist where my clients come in and I educate them on what their controller is, how it operates. I go into having them understand what their mind looks like, what their mind is doing. So I'm going to bring it up in here. So this playbook that I have, it's a very quick, condensed version of what I talk about in therapy in session. And like, this is the controller of all of us. So when a group of people come in together and they start learning what their mind does, how their mind operates, what the controllers are, the 3 buttons on top of that, your controller. So if you're having a controller of you, it would be your mind. And then on top of that controller is your intention, your attention, and your perception. A lot of people have no idea what even their intention is. So when you are in a group together, we're doing the work together. So everybody, like for instance, a group of moms, your intention is maybe to have more time for you as a mom. Your intention is to be able to manage the household, manage the kids, manage being a wife, doing all of those things in a more um, constructive way. It can be anything that your intentions are. So when a group of people come in together, you're doing the work together and you're also supporting each other. You're being a little community that is more intentional because I'm just going to say a lot of times people get together and they're talking a lot about the problems and the challenges they face, but there's not really that, like, here's the solution, here's what you do about it. So when people come together and they're in a community, think of it as a common unity, and they're being supportive with each other. They're learning new tools like how to look at your timeline and learn from it, grow from it, and gain that wisdom. You're doing the fear into power work where you're addressing the challenges that you face, addressing the feelings, and working through them rather than getting stuck, and owning that power to, this is what I'm doing, I am. you know you're also learning constructive communication across the board. Across the board, when my clients come in, it's like we have not learned as a society how to constructively communicate with each other. So much of the time it's blaming and shaming and guilting and having that angry narrative rather than, hey, here's what's going on and here's what we are going to do about it. Can we do that? So when people come together as a community with that common unity, and you're supportive of each other and you're learning new tricks, you know new ways to deal with life, there's more tools in here, but those are kind of some of the main ones, and that communication is a big one. As I'm looking here in my workbook. Also, there's a part of it where just keeping a balance in life. I don't know about you guys, but over the holidays, there was a lot going on, and I got rather unbalanced. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, and I'm going to explain what happened. Hey, Carla. So nice having you in here. And Mr. Newmont, hello. I was talking about your new class that you just started. Very exciting. If anybody wants to know more about that, he just started with the first class was all about the aura, and then next week is about the Hara line. And Nick makes it very interesting and fun. And I'm in there as well because I'm his tech person. So when it comes to a common unity, a community. The other thing that we're going to be doing here is bringing in other facilitators. Like I have this new woman that I just met, and she does these fabulous art classes. So I'm going to be connecting with her and getting that started as well. So when it comes to 26, if there's something that you would like to do, and if this idea of having a smaller group, like everybody, I have enough room in my office here for about 5 or 6 people along with me. So if you have anybody that you are in a group with, or if, I don't know, maybe people want to meet a new group. So I'm going to be starting that soon. If you're interested in any of that, give me a call. And my number's on all of my stuff, audreynewmont.com. So that brings me to my next subject. And that is when I say that I was out of balance over the holidays, it was a lot going on. We had a whole bunch of different things that we were facilitating and hosting, and I was just busy. And sometimes when we're busy, we're not paying attention to our body. Anybody relate to that? Your body starts getting a little tweak here or a little tweak there, and it's like, it'll go away. I'm sure it'll go away. Well, I was feeling a little bit of a tweaking in my back, and I just put it off, wasn't paying attention too much to it, kept thinking it's going to go away, and just kept doing all the stuff that I was doing. And I woke up on Saturday morning and my back, I stretched when I woke up and something happened. And it was like, not good. I don't know if y'all have had your back out. It is just, it's a hard thing. I mean, you move one way or another, and it's like everywhere you move, it's painful. So I woke up with this and I thought, oh, it'll go away. And I get up and I had my granddaughter over and made her and my daughter some breakfast, thinking, certainly it's going to get better. And then I came over here and I did the infrared and thinking, that'll make it better. Went home and took an Epsom salt bath, and that wasn't making it better either. So I just didn't do a lot on Saturday because I'm telling you, it was painful. So I woke up on Sunday morning and I laid there and I did some work around it, because you have to remember your body is an outpicturing of your consciousness a lot of the time. And your body, there's a book about it, your body keeps a score. And there's a book that I have right here. It is called Metaphysical Anatomy. And as you can see, I use it a lot. When my clients come in, it's like they have something going on and I'm just like on it, and I will read what the thing is to them. So this woman, her name is Yvette Rose. This is like the book that was written by Louise Hay, on steroids. So I've told many people about it. Many of my friends have bought it. It's really, really good. So when you're looking at this, you're looking at, so for my case, I was like, my back. I didn't even have my book. And I laid there in bed that morning on Sunday morning and I was like, what is this? And I might have thought about it on Saturday as well. And it's like a lot of times with the back, it's about support. And I was like, and your left side of your body is about receiving. Receiving support. What's going on here? And I'm not going to get into the details because again, it's not about the little details. We all have stuff that goes on. If anybody ever tells you I don't have anything going on, there's a high probability that they are suppressing it. And it doesn't go away. It just goes over there. And I've learned in my 63 years now that suppressing anything is not right for me. So I laid there and I was like, what is this? What am I feeling? Because I don't want to feel this anymore. I can't express enough. Very painful. And I don't take drugs. So I was doing my turmeric and my hyaluronic acid and it was still hurting. So I laid there and I pondered it and I really understood what was going on for me. In my own life, I wasn't feeling supported. And basically, I had to look at that. And when we're looking at it, that's when you're doing the process, that fear into power process. So I'm feeling literally painful in my body. And I hadn't been paying attention to how upset I was about this lack of support. And so I laid there and I pondered it. And when you're looking at it and you're in the process of looking at it, that is where you are. I'm just going to show you real quick because I think it's very important. So that's where it goes into the controller, right? And it's down in here. There's something that is unconscious. It's not been processed and brought to logic and reason and deduction, and it's not been looked at with the critical thinking. So as I'm laying there, I'm like, all right, what is this? And I'm questioning it. How important is it? What does it really mean? And a big key question for all of us, is it really about me? A lot of the time it's not. It's just not. So I had to ponder all of these things while I was laying there and literally let go of the emotions around it and come to a logical, reasonable, kind of neutral, authentically neutral feeling about it. And that was better. But then I'm laying there and I'm like, okay, it still hurts. And I really don't like going to the doctor. I don't like going to the chiropractor, to be honest. I knew if I went to my chiropractor, it was going to really hurt. I just knew it. But spirit, because I'm listening at the same time, I'm holding myself in prayer because I want this thing to be done. So I'm in prayer, and literally, it's like, you need to go to the chiropractor. It's like, ugh, and it's Sunday. And I'm like, oh, that means I gotta, I gotta ask her to come in on a Sunday. So I texted her, and luckily enough, she was able to take me at 1:30. And I was in there, and I just looked at her. I hadn't seen her for a long time because my back has been good. I used to have major back problems. In fact, I went to a chiropractor once, and this guy scared the heck out of me. He's like, "Oh, your back. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. If you drive over the wrong bump, it's going to be like crystal shattering." And I was like, "Geez." So, long story short, I do a lot to take care of my back, and it hasn't been bothering me up until this point. So I hadn't seen her for a while. I went in, I was like, "Oh, thank you so much for taking me today." And so I go in there, and sure enough, she has me on that table. And it was like, I was almost in tears to get up from the table. It was so bad. And then she made me get on another table. Then I had to get off of that one. But when she was done with me, there was a difference because it needed to be realigned. We get out of alignment in our back and we just keep moving forward. It's not like the back is going to fix itself. Certain muscles start pulling more to make up for the other things not working. And, we managed to make it better. Like over the holidays, I kept feeling that thing, but then it gets to the point where it's just not going to work. So I went to her, and by the time she was done, I did feel better, like a good amount better. And then she gave me this stuff that I have over here. Where is it? I have it right here. So, I don't take any drugs. So she gave me this stuff. I'm telling you, it's really good. It's called Pure Relief, and it has all of these good things in it. And I'm not going to read it because it's like a minus whatever font, but it has CBD in it. It's got arnica in it. It's got all of these natural things. So between this, her doing my emotional and mental work, and then going home and taking another Epsom salt bath, I got to say, I woke up the next morning and was like, wow, this is a lot better. I mean, it didn't have anywhere close to that pain anymore, which is, I think, for me, kind of unheard of. So it's really, really important to pay attention to the physical things that are going on in the body. Our body has its natural ability to heal itself, and there's all these natural ways to heal the body, like going to Dr. Kristen. She's with Body Restoration in Newbury Park. She's amazing. And she also does the reformer there. She's got a whole center of things that she does, but she's amazing. So you're finding these people, like I've got Nancy Sachs, Dr. Sachs, that takes care of us. Eloise Buckner, she's another part of the body. We have all these different people that take care of our bodies, because Nick and I go, and the kids, and we send a lot of our clients to these people. Hi, Renee. Yes, I'm finally seeing some comments here. Arnica is amazing. It is really good. But again, a lot of people don't know about arnica because we're taught go take some Tylenol. But Tylenol takes its toll on the liver and the kidneys. So if there's a natural approach that you can take that's doing the goods, why not go for it and try that first? But again, many of us, like I didn't know any of all this for many, many years of my life. I took Tylenol and what is the other one? Advil all the time. I used to be a hairstylist, so you stand on your feet for hours and hours at a time. You get achy and you get whatever. So we didn't even think of it. Advil, like it was, candy. And then finally one day I went to maybe a chiropractor or something, and this guy was like, you shouldn't be taking that. You should maybe take maximum X amount. And I was like, wow, I've been taking a lot more than that. So it's really important not to say that there's not use for pharmaceuticals or stuff like Advil, but if you can take something that doesn't have an ill effect on another part of your body, you know, why not try that first? Like another one that's great for pain in the body is turmeric. Turmeric can be amazing for reducing inflammation. So it's important to, at this point, especially in our world, to really look at what are the options that you can do to keep your body healthy and happy and limber. So seeing you in balance and wholeness. Thank you, Renee. So the reason why I bring all of this up is I think a lot of people have issues with their back. It's funny, Nick had his class the other night and there were three of us. So I was showing this product to these two other women and having them test drive it. So it seems like the back is something that is really something to pay attention to. So in the book that I've got here, this metaphysical anatomy book, which I can't even say enough, excellent material in there. But I took some of the things out that kind of lined up with what I have going on. And I want to show you a little bit about how that process works. So I just brought out a few of them that kind of related to me. Again, I don't need to go into all the details, but I want you to think about if you have any back problems or if you have anybody in your life that has back issues. These are just like a few of the things, and some of them are about actually the back itself, and then she breaks it down into whether it's the top part of your back, the middle back, the lower back. It's really a very complete book with so many things. So she says in there, you often lack support in life as the support others give is not necessarily the kind of support you need. Well, that was the main one for me. And again, I don't need to go into the details. So when you're looking at it, it's like I'm looking at it and I said, all right, so I'm addressing my kid in the back seat and looking at, do we really need that support? Is it necessary? Is it to the point where we want to say something about that, do a constructive communication with who we feel we're not having support with? And so you're questioning it, and then you're also looking at the options. What is it that I want to do about this? And so you're not just leaving it at not necessarily the kind of support I need. It's I'm looking at it. What do I need? What do I want? What would be my intention? And I landed at, I love and appreciate this person, these people, whoever it is, very much. And I know it's not about me. And honestly, I have a lot of support. I've got support in so many areas of my life. So I'm going to just take out the feeling of judgment about it. I'm going to take out those feelings of whatever that looked like and make it more neutral. So then they go on to, here's another thing that can be about the back. You often forget that you are entitled to make choices in life. You become stuck in the idea that you are a victim of circumstance due to your childhood experiences. You may have been forced to do things you didn't want to do as you gave your power away to influential people. Influential people can project as much dominance. Sorry, I got distracted. Influential people can project as much dominance, control, and abuse as they want toward another, period. It's ultimately towards another. It's ultimately up to the recipient of the manipulation and abuse to choose how they're going to deal with it and respond to it. Kind of like what I was saying earlier. When you make a choice, you have to be prepared to own the outcome of that choice and take responsibility for your level of involvement for giving people more power than they deserve. that's kind of what I did. So for the lower back, you often feel burdened by keeping the peace and balance in the household. You may lack discernment as to when you should act as a provider, when to emotionally support, and when to just be a facilitator and supporter. You feel rushed with very little time to do everything that needs to be done. You often feel this person, this project, or this person's need is urgent and has to and it has to be dealt with now because I am relied on. Yeah. So sometimes when we don't want to look at that stuff, it's like we get busy and we get occupied, and then your back goes out. And then I read something like that. It's like, shit, I wasn't even thinking about that. But you know what? That's kind of accurate. And so it helps us to then make those adjustments because in reality, life is all about adjusting. It's always, always about where do I need to adjust for yourself first and then for the world around you. So when you are having something that goes on with the body, it doesn't mean that it's like a sentence of this is going to last forever. It's like when my back was out, this was years ago. I think I was around 50 at the point. And I mean, it was a hot mess. And I was going to this chiropractor, and I'm telling you, it scared the heck out of me. And for a long time, I haven't had any issues with it. And then I have an issue on Saturday. Here it is Wednesday, and I'm hardly feeling it at all. Like I literally couldn't pick stuff up from the ground. I'm picking stuff up from the floor, and it's not a problem. So the more that we deal with it, the more that you do the emotional, mental, and physical things that need to be adjusted, there you are. But I'm going to give you another quick story because this is where things happen. Years ago, I fell and I hurt my knee. And I mean, it hurt. And I didn't need stitches, but I really like banged it up pretty well. And it just kept hurting. And I caught myself one day. I mean, this was like weeks later when I think it shouldn't have been hurting. So weeks later, I caught myself because we do this. I was bending down to get something from under the bed, and I caught myself going, my knee still hurts. And I caught myself and I was like, oh, shit, my knee still hurts. And I'm claiming that. So when I had that understanding and I realized I keep reaffirming that my knee hurts, well, I stopped it immediately. And I'm just going to say, my knee stopped hurting not long after that. So the other part of all of this is you want to pay attention when you're in your body and we have had a trauma to it. We've had an injury, we've had whatever go on. Your body's listening to you all the time. My body was listening to me saying, my knee still hurts. And my body's like, yeah, right. It's just how things work. A good example of this, I have a client who really banged up their knee. And I mean, it was a mess. And this went on for months. And they came in for a session and they were lamenting it and they were really upset. My knee still hurts. And it was interesting because I had explained, you keep saying your knee still hurts. And so we did hypnosis, and I had him look at what was going on with it. Again, it's not worth the whole story, but there was a certain amount of anger about it. He literally hit his knee at one point in the session because he was angry about what had happened and the circumstances around it. And so we did hypnosis, and I did a process to release the anger around it and to release some of the experience of it. And he came out of hypnosis. His knee never hurt after that, as far as I remember. So you really have to remember so many things are what they call psychosomatic. So as you're being in your body this year for 26, are there things going on with it that it's like, this has been going on for a long time and I really would like it healed, but your attention is on the struggle of it, whatever that looks like. Or, we get kind of sometimes complacent with things. Things get to be like normal. Oh, it's just how it is. It's just what my body does. A couple of weeks ago, I was, no, a few weeks ago at this point, I was at Vitality Village with Dr. Monica Leslie, and we were in that video, by the way. I have to have another interview with her because not going into the details of that, but I have to podcast with her. At any rate, she was explaining what she does, and we get in our body, we get like in a habit of how we be in the body. And so, like with my back kept compensating for what I had going on until it didn't hold anymore, and then it just went out. We do that in so many ways. So when people go to Monica, they get trained. She's like a hypnotherapist for the body on a level. So she retrains us how to change different motions, different ways that we're moving, so that we're breaking out of like the habit of overcompensating for something, or protecting ourselves from something, or whatever it is that we do. So as you're moving forward into 26 and you really want to own the health of your body, it's a good time to be very authentic. That's going to be a very key word about how you are in your body. Because sometimes people will judge, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't be feeling that. And of course, then you're not going to look at it because there's the judgment around it. So when you are looking at what's going on with your body, a lot of things are fixable. So pay attention to what you're thinking, pay attention to what you're feeling, pay attention to what actions that you're doing or not doing. So when you're making that the process, it's really good idea to pull out pen and paper, pencil and paper, whatever, and you're making notes about what this looks like. You can even do a timeline around your body and look at where your body has healed before and where you maybe have let something linger because of whatever reason. I mean, it's fascinating to look at your timeline and see all of this stuff. By the way, those of you that are on here, if you have any questions, I'm open and I'm looking at the comments, especially on, I think, hold on, comments. I see more comments over here. All right, I'm just seeing those. So Carla had knee surgery 4 months ago, and I'm saying that my knee still hurts. See? You need to change how you're talking to your knee. Exactly. That's perfect. Here's the other thing. Somebody was just I text sometimes with my clients. They'll do some homework and they'll share it with me, and then I will text back with them. And I had somebody that I was texting with, and they said, I need to do whatever. And funny enough, Carla, you're saying I need. The first part of that is knee. When you're doing this work, it's not that you need to do anything. I am, and what is it that you're doing? Because when we say I need to, that's not taking ownership. So if you're looking at that with your knee, you're saying, oh, I'm loving my knee. I'm nurturing my knee. I am doing all these things to bring about the healing in my knee. And big part of it, like a big part of it, I am grateful that it's already in process. Because once we are saying I am, once we do those kind of things, you're now putting that into the quantum physics, into quantum intelligence. And you're also, with your heart and your thoughts attached to it, you're now telling your body we're good and we're healing, and I'm going to send all of this healing there. Another thing you can do, and again, I mean, there's all these things that you can bring in. I didn't say that I was doing this earlier. So when I woke up on Saturday morning, my granddaughter was there, so I didn't do all this. But on Sunday morning and later on Saturday, I will lay there and I'll let my body get really relaxed. I'll get into a comfortable position. And then you are bringing your heart down to calm and you're imagining, however it is that you do it, I imagine that this energy, this healing energy, and sometimes I'll make it like I'll bring in a pink and green sparkle and I'll bring that energy into like my back where it was hurting. So you're focusing the heart's energy with that thought. Healing is already happening, it's already fully in action. And your heart literally talks to the 50 trillion cells that make up our body. So when you're directing that heart energy, that coherence to the areas that are feeling whatever that pain is, you are lining those cells up for a healing process, to as they're multiplying and dividing, they're healing. And you're imagining that in your mind. Your imagination is one of the most powerful things. So when you're saying I'm needing to, that's not bad at all. But when you're saying I am, that's taking ownership. It's like there's a few words that you really want to pay attention if you're saying it that are not bad or wrong or anything like that, but they're not going to get you the same full effect as the I am. I mean, look at the difference to I'm trying, I need to, I'm going to. I've had people in session, they'll go, all right, I'm going to do that. And I look at them like this and they go, oh, no, I need to. And I'll look at them again. It's actually funny sometimes. And then they'll, oh, I get it. I am. And then, they land on it. It's a power. Those are two of the most powerful words that we ever own. I am. And when you say, I am that, I am. That energy of the universe flows through here. That's how I healed a kidney stone. You see my eyes just getting watery. I'm telling you, when you're claiming that energy, when you're claiming that it's not even a nameable thing. I mean, some people want to call it whatever they call it, and it's literally in our DNA that it's God, but you just say whatever you want to say. But that energy, when it flows through you and you are intentional about it, I got rid of a kidney stone like that, doing that. I am that, and I am done with this kidney stone. I know what it was there for. It was lumps of undissolved anger, and I'm done with it. Swear to God, it went away immediately and it never came back. So we are extraordinarily powerful in our body, but we have to direct it in a way that is conscious, that's intentional, on purpose, and right now, like right now. Okay? Thank you for sharing that, Carla. I appreciate it. When you guys talk back and forth with me, it makes this much better. So I think I've finished with the things about the back. If anybody has anything else that actually, Carla, just out of curiosity, I'll forget it. There's your knee. Well, you know what? You want to hear what the knee is about? This book covers so much. I had a girl that came in one time, or actually, she couldn't come in because she was sick with something. And then when she came in, she was sick. She had a blocked salivary gland. I mean, that's very obscure, isn't it? Well, I was able to bring it up, and she was like exactly what she had going on. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to bring up the knee for fun. Knee problems. You ready? Here we go. There's not a whole bunch here. So there's knee problems, kneecap. And by the way, a lot of people have knee problems as well. The amount of people that I know that have had a knee replacement is a lot. And torn this and that in the knee, different things going on. So here's the emotions that go with just knee problems. You have found yourself stuck in an uncomfortable situation. You don't have an actionable plan to move forward on a project or in your personal life. Your perception of the future is mixed up with your own inner fear and dread of being ridiculed, judged, or rejected. You fear being judged by family members if you follow your dreams. You feel disempowered by life due to a past failure that left you feeling judged, humiliated, and attacked, either verbally or physically by others. So you got to remember when you're hearing this, like when I'm reading this to my clients, it's not all of it is you, and it can be little parts of it. So when you're hearing it, you're like, does that resonate? Is that what I have going on? And you're leaving yourself very open, so you're not judging anything. You're just simply saying, okay, what is this? What have I been harboring? What's the kid in the back seat got going on here? And so you're leaving it open to having that awareness, so it brings it from the unconscious to the conscious, so you can actually do something about it. So the next thing that it says, you're entering a new stage, phase, transition. This could be related to a pregnancy that you feel obligated to follow through on, often related to your mother or grandmother. You have a fear of success. You may want to change your life's direction, but feel held back by your family's demands and expectations. That's a big one for a lot of people too. All these people pulling, pulling, pulling. It's a big deal. You have a fear of disappointing your parents or guardians if you make a certain changes. You also don't want to leave your comfort zone. Changes were experienced as traumatic in the past. You know a change is coming and you are almost paralyzed by fear of the unknown. That's another big one for people too. Then the next one, you often feel rigid about aging. You fight or resist authority, not wanting to be a team player. You feel you know what is best for you and that your purpose is elsewhere. You often deprive yourself of joy as your family is often serious, rigid, with little room for fun and excitement. And it's just a little bit more. You may have felt responsible for fixing the depressed state of the family while at the same time in need of achieving more than you were capable of. You felt that you were not allowed to move away from expectations that were projected onto you. You were obligated to follow through on others' agendas in order to keep peace. Next, there is a conflict between you and your supporters. This could be related to conflict between you and those you support. Next, you feel intimidated by authority that pushed roles and responsibility onto you. And then the other stuff is about actually physical trauma about happening. So when you're looking at all of this, it's again, you're looking for what's going on here. What's the emotions behind it? What is the thought behind it? So you're not judging it. You're just looking, does any of that resonate with me? And you're leaving it open to the awareness and the understanding. So I hope that makes sense. You're very welcome. Yes. So in the last little bit of time that I have here, we've just entered into a new year, and yesterday was the day of Epiphany, and today is the 7th. We're a full week into this new year, and I just want you to ask yourself some questions, because that's how we get into our critical thinking. So here we are 7 days in. Have you set some intentions for the new year? There's those four corners of our life. There's your love, that's your love of self and those relationships that we have. There's your health, which we talked about today. There is the success and abundance and the joy, just simply being happy. So my recommendation is, as we're into this new year already, what is your intention for those four corners? And when you're writing them down, it's a good idea to write them down. Think expansively on it. I think this is a year where there's going to be a lot of unexpected good things happening. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I mean, I think many of you know I look at a lot of different kinds of news. And I think we may have a little bit of a moment, especially what Nick was talking about, the coming up on the 23rd of January. You can look at the mainstream metaphysics video for those details. And I just posted something a little while ago about that. So when you are writing those intentions down, don't limit yourself. Leave it expansive, leave it open to, I think this would make me happy. This would feel good. What are those things that would be your intentions? Then the next part of it is make an action plan for each of them. Even if it's just a little thing, you want to write down something that you can do. I don't think I have it right here, but I think it's always a good idea. Everybody gets so used to doing everything online. It's a really good idea to have a calendar like that you write in. And you can get them at like TJ Maxx and places like that where they're not wildly expensive. And what I suggest for people to do is put those intentions at the beginning of the book. You can tape it in, you can write it in, you can do whatever. This is like, consider it like your vision board calendar book. So when you have these intentions set, and then you want to put in your action plan at the beginning of each week, what is some little thing that you can do that you make a new practice of in the week? Like, as an example, I've cut out sugar. I already did that. Now it's a done thing. And I'm making it a practice where I have very, very, very much limited sugar in my life. And then I'm going to do the next thing of the week, and then the next thing. And it's like each of these things adds up. That's the health of the body. I want to take more walks on the beach, more walks in the neighborhood, in nature. So I'm adding these things in, and I'm doing more, whatever that looks like. We've got a little stairmaster in our house, getting on that and making that a practice a bit more time. So when you are looking at the intentions and the action plan, you start mapping it out each week in the year. And you can actually sit down and write down these things. And that way, as you're going about the year, it's like, oh, here's the next thing. This is fun. So you're adding a new thing in, and it doesn't have to be major things. Little things make a big difference. In fact, as you're changing beliefs, as you're changing habits, when there's a little step and then another little step and then another little step, before you know it, you've gone so far. But a lot of times when people want to, like, I really want to do something major, then it's like you don't have that foundation, and you're going to, sometimes it collapses. So take the time to make a plan for yourself. And the other thing is, like, for fun, start mapping out. Like, for instance, Nick is going to be taking me away for a weekend coming up here in January. That's going to be fun. I'm writing down different plans that I have in my appointment book, like for me to take my solo camping trip. I'm going to look forward to that. I'm going to plan dates with friends and, all different kinds of stuff. So you're putting those fun things in to look forward to. Same thing with your success and your abundance. Are you happy in your work? Are you happy in your career? If you're not, what can you do about it? How can you make some adjustments to be happier where you're at, or change where you're at? You get to make everything happen. So if you found yourself in a state of being kind of like, I'm just normal, I'm just in my groove, this is just what I'm doing. Am I wildly happy? No. Am I unhappy? No. Well, why not be wildly happy? We came into these lives to be happy, to feel that joy, to feel deep, beautiful love, to feel a lot of success, that abundance. That's why we came here. So if you're not having it, what can you do to bring it about? That's going to be your task. So again, I say moving into 26, it's just weird that we're in 2026. I'm still, it's a lot to say. as you're moving into this new year, if there is anything that you're writing down and you're feeling doubt about it, or you're feeling not sure about it, maybe it's too big of a step. Maybe you want to take a lesser step and then another step and another step. But if there's anything that you're looking at and it's like, oh, I don't think I can do this at all, really question that. Is that true? You're questioning that kid in the back seat. I mean, of course, there's things within reason. There's certain things that I would have loved to have done in my life, but it's just not who I am. So you want to really find that place as well where you hone in on your gifts that you bring into this world. And you bring a gift. We all do. So when you can look at it and there is the gift of maybe, like I have this client, this girl gets in her own way a lot of the time, but she is fun and she's got a great sense of humor. And it's like, focus on your gift. You amuse people and you're a light on the planet when she's not stuck in her stuff. So even if you're one of these people, it's like, I don't even know what I bring. Go around and ask people. Ask the people that are closest to you. What do you appreciate about me? What do you think I bring to the planet? Bring in your community. Start making it where you are, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know. It's like bringing in that element where you're allowing people to support you. That's what we started out this conversation with me, with not feeling like I was supported in a certain area of my life. Allow people to support you. Ask them, ask for what it is that you want. Also, ask the universe. There's a whole host of angels and guides and energy and love and light that's right here, ready to support you. And that in my lifetime has one of the biggest things, because when I was a kid, I did not ask for anything. So it took me the longest time to ask for support. So, like when my back was out, I recognized, I'm not getting support here, but the universe loves me and I'm going to ask. And here I am a very few days later, pain free. So, ask for support, whether it's from the number one driver, your friends, your family, those people that, believe it or not, love you. And if you don't have anybody that you feel loves you now, go find those people. You're lovable. We're all lovable. Believe it or not. I've had some clients come in, it's like they did not feel lovable and they kind of isolated themselves. And then they started owning that part of them that was lovable. And most importantly, they started loving themselves. And then they drew in a lot of people that loved them. So when you're looking at 26, what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? How do you want to do it? What are the intentions? How are you going to make that happen? It's all your choice. And if a hard moment comes up, they will. Hard moments come up, but that's where we're going to grow. So as you're looking at it, there's a part where you say, all right, I'm in it now. And if there is a hard moment that comes up, I'm going to become even stronger through it. And that's what we do. And when we're doing it in a community that supports each other, that makes such a difference. So if you're not in a community yet, if you don't have those support people around you, start finding them. And if you live around here, come on down. I'm creating a whole bunch of community events and people. And if you have an idea of something you'd like to do, let me know. Hey, I have just 1 minute left. I was thinking I didn't have a lot to talk about tonight. It's amazing that I can talk for an hour by myself. And thank you, Carla, for your questions and for joining us, and Renee, and and all of you that are going to watch this afterwards. So you're welcome to share it, And I will be back here again next week. I believe I have a special guest joining me. You're going to love her. Yep, I definitely have a special guest. That's going to be the 14th. I'm not going to say who it is just because I want to confirm it first, but talk about health. This person is like a powerhouse of information with health. So join me next week, same time, right here. And in the meantime, go do those things, make life happen in a grand way, and know that I love you very much. And good night for now. Bye.